So I knew I wanted to have you as a guest on our podcast. At the moment when you said that you guys have 30K revenue, which means that it's a real startup, not just every startup is, good, and I love founders and startups, but once you get a product market fit, that's when things become a bit more interesting.
Exactly.
And also when you said, I know that we are absolutely the best in our category and there's nobody even close. Because when people say something like that, they're either fake and not telling the truth, which happens a lot of the time, but at the same time, I think my experience has given me intuition to know when, people, that's just a huge amount of belief in oneself and one's team. And I got that impression from you. So can you tell us about what it is that you do, and why do you think you're the best at it?
Mate, it's an absolutely awesome question. And I love the point that you mentioned. It's basically like what's segregates, basically, the successful guys from non-successful ones. Like the first one got revenue and got real traction, real people who actually using the product. In the second case, it's basically, okay, we can buzz around, having some fun, talking about how we're the best, and everybody the best and whatever. But in the end of the day, it's more about numbers. So if you can generate some revenue, you can attract some eyeballs, because we're in the economy of attention.
Yeah.
So, and if you can attract some eyeballs to it, and in the end of the day, you're gonna get your stake, some cash, you're gonna get some investor relations, and as well as you're gonna get reliable clients who are gonna be working with you afterwards, selling for you. So that's how kind of I see this thing. And coming back to the point what you mentioned about what I'm doing and why I'm here, basically. So originally speaking, 1.5 years ago, we started as a collaborative marketing DAO. Do you familiar with the concept DAO?
Well, let's assume that I'm not. I think I know about it, but I probably don't know about it as a crypto native person would know.
Okay.
And also, we have to keep in mind that a good part of our audience is not crypto native as well. So let's try and explain DAOs to like you would explain it to a normie.
Exactly. No worries about it.
Yeah.
I have no problem. So the point of DAO is basically, imagine a bunch of people who actually have different ideas, maybe startups, maybe they're influencers, media publishers, and whatever, that coming together to actually frame this structure where they can vote for the decisions as well as the exchange knowledge inside of it. It's basically like aggregation of smart people inside of it. It's something like this, but we're not at that time, we wasn't thinking in terms of profits. You get it? It was more about we're exchanging offers with each other and finding out where it's going to bring us. But where we end up is basically we found out, okay, there's bunch of people doing some marketing all together. Let's see the patterns. And what the patterns are. It's basically starting with this happy meal, how I would call it. So it's basically, okay, you have a Twitter. Oh yeah, sure. Let's do cross-follow. Let's exchange the reposts and so on.
Okay.
It's basically a happy meal of collaborative marketing. But where we end up in the end of the day is basically there's way more things happening. As well as for early stage guys, it's mostly this. For established people and guys with already good amount of traction, good amount of eyeballs watching for them. And how does this goes? Basically, we can create this giveaway or some work call the media guy and say about, okay, we're doing this giveaway. Now come here, highlight it, help us a bit, and and you're getting some profit afterwards. So in the end of the day, it's more about the marketing activities and how we can exchange audience, because each projects have its core audience, the guys who staying with them, I don't know, for 10 more years. And other ones, for them, they're a bit struggling with it. And in the end of the day, if we're in the same sector, we have similar ideas, why not to exchange it properly? And that's what we kind of pursue in terms of the collaboration. And originally started as a DAO, as I already said about it.
Yeah.
And then when we found out these patterns, what people doing to actually exchange audience, to drive some more eyeballs and so on, we decided why not to package it in platform. So at that point, okay, it becoming way more fun because we can attract the investors in there, build something beautiful, as well as creating these new frameworks of how the people, and especially like the Web3 startups, behave with each other, how they exchanging audience, growing together, and so on. Because the current economy is the economy of attention. I'll repeat myself again.
Yeah, and, no problem. We have time, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the current economy is the economy of attention. And if you cannot drive attention to what you're doing, so it means you cannot drive some clients.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what people are searching for mostly. I mean, in terms of like entrepreneurs and so on. So they're trying to aggregate some of the loyal customers in there.
Okay.
So it's exactly the attention.
So I'm gonna ask you to take a step back to make sure that I understood. So in a way, you have built a platform where participants in that platform exchange like word of mouth marketing services with each other. Am I on the right path?
Yeah, I mean, you're on the right path if it was 1.5 years ago. So originally when we started as a DAO, it was exactly, I mean, imagine a chat in Telegram.
Just people helping each other. You promote me, I'll promote you, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy concept, huh?
Yeah, okay,
so
no
that's
problem.
That's how. So each of those guys, like you promote me, I promote you. I mean, it works both sides usually. So it's a win-win. And we just decided, okay, let's find like the best ways how we can establish this win-win, but package it in something more than like group chat,
Yeah, sure.
Basically, that was the
what
idea.
did you build?
So itself, it's all started with a dashboard, basically where you can see activities where, for example, I am as a startup inviting some guys to, like, I don't know, just do cross follows with me.
Cross follows.
Exactly.
Okay.
For example,
Okay.
it's basic stuff.
That's one of the basic growth marketing, tactics, right?
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
But in the end of the day, what we saw is there a lot of platforms itself coming that, okay, for example, we're running giveaways and so on. So what I'm saying to those guys, come on, just publish your offering. Let's see if the startups love it. Because in the end of the day, I'm not the one who decides. It's this kind of DAO structure.
Yeah.
It's people should decide what they like, what they don't, with whom they want to work, with whom they don't want. Because in the end of the day, you, as a startup, you're searching for reliable partners. You're searching for guys with a similar audience, maybe. And as well as you're trying to establish it in the best possible case, not to look cheap for your audience, Because in the end of the day, I can recommend, for example, whatever, anybody to anybody, but my social score kind of in this point is a bit losing, you see?
Okay.
So why not to do it more fairly? Why not to launch real valuable activities, for example, for like giveaway for your subscribers? Why not?
So as a brand or as a company, I come to your platform and I say, okay, guys, I have a giveaway planned. And then other participants in that platform can see whether that makes sense for them to reshare. Did I understand that correctly?
I mean, imagine if, for example, your giveaway platform, let's talk this way. So you're coming to us saying, okay, so seems like we need some more B2B segment clients, basically, some startups. Yeah. So how we can establish it? You making this publishing in the platform saying, okay, guys, we're trying to establish in here, at this starting point, we're trying. So we're trying to establish this $2,000 giveaway for our partners from Ethereum, for example, or something else. And you just publishing it, and now you're looking what startups, what guys going to be jumping in on the platform, like request, like that's how it goes. And in the end of the day, if you see, okay, now I have a bunch of reliable partners, guys with, I don't know, 100K plus in Twitter and so on, so you can choose, basically. Yeah. Okay, those guys, I want to bring them, So you are approving them, and what's happening next is basically they participating in this giveaway, putting some of their cash in terms of this prize pool.
Okay.
There's like, we as an organizer also participating in there, and there's like usually small, like Tookey IO was there. So that's how it goes. Yeah. And in the end of the day, those guys sharing the costs while also exchanging the audiences between each other, because it's giveaway, so I'm reposting it, because giveaway of my company, why not? Yeah. And everybody doing the same who's in this pool. Yeah. And this collaboration is actually getting in the absolute, because you're getting traffic from this Quest platform that you, for example, from, as well as you're getting traffic from your new partners, and as well as like the additional eyeballs because of you know, like how the like posting works. Like if you catch the algorithm, you know, on algorithm loves it. And
oh yeah, when they see a bunch of people sharing the same thing, they boost that thing.
Exactly, exactly. And you know, like it's like there's some point of the Twitter score or something. Remind me how to call it properly, but so
well, yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
And this point with the Twitter scoring, so basically when the Twitter itself seeing that okay, there's a bunch of guys, big guys, they're kind of in the similar industry and so on. So and that's how like it's getting promoted way faster.
Yeah. So in a way, you're automating what would otherwise be a something that a company would be doing by hand by reaching out to various influencers. Here you have a platform for influencers where a company comes and puts some money into the you know, reward pool for all of the influencers. The influencers start promoting it, and they get, you know, appropriate part of the prize pool. Did I manage to get that correctly?
It's a good question, actually. Yeah. So there's various types of collaborations in there. Basically, so imagine if I just want this guy to like promote myself, and he's not that big. I don't know, like, and he now helping us with like promoting this giveaway, for example. Yeah. And what's happened next is either he like requiring some cash, you know, in hand afterwards, like the hard cash, and or he just wanted to get some of the audience of those guys already in this pool. So, you know, it's this is the win-win. Okay. You know? Basically speaking, but in the end of the day, if he asking me, I don't know, like for $5,000, if he big and he want to highlight some of our activities, man, I mean, why not? If it's 5 of us in this kind of prize pool, why not to share this cost? You know, it's already 1,005. Yeah. You know? That's how the saving costs. I mean, it's good pill to swallow, you know? I mean, you just getting some win-win in there, sharing costs. You're getting like the massive exposure in terms of marketing. And in the end of the day, man, it's all about like winning together, growing together, and finding the like effective and innovative ways. Because, man, it's hard to do it only with cash. I mean, you can always throw a cash on the problem, like as well as mostly people doing the marketing. You get it? But it's not, you're not ending up on the other part of the bridge that is broken, you know? So you just need to find the innovative ways to do this.
So generally, what I understood is that in Web3, marketing is a big problem, you know, having ways to reach your audience. So what you make makes perfect sense, and I haven't so far heard for too many of solutions that actually make sense. I mean, I know there's a bunch of agencies, but not too many platforms so far. So I saw that for your domain there was a number of previous solutions that you were offering. So it sounded to me like you did a bunch of pivots, and like there was a no-code solution, there was a password or actually passkey storage solution. So can you walk me through how you managed to do all of those and how you landed on this one?
Wait, I love the question. I love the question because, as we all know, I mean, life getting harder and harder when you growing.
When you're in startup,
Exactly. And like, what's the original story? Imagine it's me and my partner was like getting some good success fees from our kind of jobs in previous, and decided, okay, like why not to partner up and build something for ourselves? Because it sounds like at that time it was a bear market, so all the cryptocurrencies down. Yeah. People screaming, I'm leaving, like Bitcoin is a scam, you know, and all of this stuff. I mean, basically this period. Yeah. And as we are already like 6 years, I'm more than 6 years in the industry, so it's easy for me to understand where to build, where to earn. Yeah. No, and it was exactly the point of building. And I found like my partner who's like highly technical, and we decided, okay, let's try to test hypothesis, because you never know what's going to be successful, what people are gonna like. And the only way you can actually understand this is testing, you know, and testing with the real people. It's the main kind of point. And at that time, I was doing a lot of customer development interviews where I was trying to, one-on-one kind of understand the problems of people, understand, like, does what we kind of offering make sense in the end of the day. So with the first thing where I was doing the private key management is basically how you getting access to your crypto wallets. Basically, we was trying to reframe this concept.
That's real pain,
Exactly. I mean, imagine a lot of guys like writing down the paper, losing it, and then after 5 years, I think I have 5,000 Bitcoins on my wallet, but I do not know the seed phrase, I was trying to solve this, it should be different.
It's a real problem.
Exactly. It should be, in my vision, it should be way easier to do. It should be like with this Google authentication. Basically, it should be like that, not like something that I'm struggling with every time and hard to describe to my mother, like how to work with it.
I know what you mean.
And this was the problem that was originally trying to solve. But what we found out, it's maybe not exactly what the developers, what founders and so on was looking for.
Like too many stakeholders or?
It was, I guess it was just a hard concept that was like purely technical, because originally it was coming from my co-founder right now. And when we was testing, we found out that, maybe it's not the problem that people are looking to solve like immediately, urgently right now, because, I mean, there's usually tier 1 problems and tier 2. So, I mean, kind of.
Yeah, when people don't feel a pain with a particular problem, that's a really, really tough startup to build.
Exactly.
Probably not really possible unless you have a lot of capital and a lot of energy to solve that problem, and you can wait it out. You can wait until the market becomes ready. So how much did you invest in that? I mean, you couldn't have had a it's not easy to go through all those experiments, especially if you were doing some development work as well.
Mate, it's an awesome question. So originally, when I was getting started, we had like a bunch of cash in hand, kind of, for testing of those hypotheses. I'm not able to disclose like how much my partner like was investing, but from my side, it was around 20K during like the first 3, I think, pivots. So
wow.
I was just throwing some cash here and there, checking out, because in the end of the day, you need to market it and understand, like, I'm not building something unless I market it. I understand, there's some demand on it. So maybe we can try, I don't know, different wordings and then get, I don't know, better conversions or whatever on it. So afterwards, like, you're ready to build. But, it's always a struggle. So, I mean, with the private key thing that I just described, mate, it was just the first attempt. Afterwards, there was way more things that was coming into a head, but it was really, really tough, to really understand, why there's no people wanted this solution. And guess what?
Thanks so much for being that open about it, because for every founder, worth their salt, we are going to go through many trials and errors, more than we might want to admit to ourselves and to others, but it's a necessary part of the game. I mean, it's fairly rare that you see someone like, I know, Mark Zuckerberg, who, in a way nabs Facebook like on his first try.
Exactly.
But even he did a bunch of various apps that are proto Facebook when he was a teenager. So it wasn't a clear road for him as well.
Exactly.
And I mean, he's really interesting. He keeps pivoting even now. You also did a no code product. How did that come about?
Ooh, and before we come into it, I just want to share with you one of my favorite quotes about. Let me do that. So, I believe that all of this ancient life that is actually right now living on Earth was made with only one tool: the mistake. You get it, huh?
Okay.
So that it's coming
who's the quote?
Man, now things going crazy. You see, it's actually like from the serious like Western world. It's about like some robots. Westworld, exactly. Something like that.
Okay, cool.
So I wasn't expect that. It's like I found this gem when I was actually listening like to what the like dialogue in there is about. And so I'm hearing this.
I don't know if this is like an air show or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, that was really, really noisy.
Guys,
sorry for
we're
interrupting
going to be joining our show soon. That's what's up. So yeah, and coming to your question with the no-code platform that was building. So at that time, we already tested like a lot of hypotheses and decided, okay, it's time to already frame it in something that people can touch.
Yeah.
No? And at that time, we was actually heavily betting on these no-code platforms, because the idea was to help the developers achieve this momentum in terms of how easy it is for them to jump in the like crypto field and field of blockchains, and how easy for them to build something actually.
Yeah.
So the main problems is, okay, the technical barrier of entry, high. Solving it with no-code tools.
Makes sense.
Exactly. And how you can like solve it also, like the problem of how fast you're building it. You know? So those no-code tools should be framed in some sort of, I don't know, patterns or something that already can from the box like being used, you know? And that was the original idea. We created this interface where actually like for all of the young entrepreneurs and guys who are thinking that it's hard to start, guys, there's a bunch of open source code in there that you can actually grab. It's free for all, you know? Our code is also open source. Come on, grab it. I mean, it's free for all. I just want to see more products getting built around, you know?
And why didn't it succeed?
Oh man, it's a cool question. So what we found out is basically that at the early stages it's very hard to attract the right audiences in terms of the developers and so on, because most of them already kind of comfortable with the code. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, developers are rarely audience for a no-code tool.
Exactly, and you know, like, okay, I don't need developers who already kind of in the ecosystem, they kind of already know this entry barrier, you know? But the guys who actually not in the crypto, not like familiar with Rust, Solidity, and so on, all of these languages, for them, it's hard point for me to educate, you know? It's very hard point of entrepreneurial journey when you need to educate your audience. This is expensive, you know? And that's not particularly what you need to do. Maybe just start different way, you know, and that's how.
Yeah, and you already described how you came about your current version of the platform. You know, it started organically with a DAO, and there you saw, you know, a need that you could help people solve. One thing that I didn't ask you about that. So you have this two-sided platform essentially. And how do you make money out of that? I'm guessing you take a small fee out of, you know, every transaction, or
exactly. I mean, in terms of revenue generation, there's a bunch of things. You know, as you already mentioned, we started as a DAO, so there's a bunch of partners who are looking for like basically the same stuff as me. So I'm looking to market my products, and I'm trying to make it the most efficient way. So, and how we do this? Okay, you as a startup coming to me and asking, Vasily, I'm searching for like some good practices and so on. So what you can recommend to me? Yeah. And basically it's always an open dialogue between me and those guys. And okay, I can share some offers because I mean I'm in there 24/7 and I know what's happening. You know? And I can share with them some offers. I can introduce some of the best techniques, how you can retain user, acquire it, how to build the proper onboarding. For example, like the Telegram and the Ton ecosystem around it. It's basically a hot topic. And a lot of guys was doing, or at least trying to do these clicker games. Maybe you're familiar.
So, no, I haven't seen those.
What, like a hamster or something, no?
Yeah,
like a lot of people tapping. Like.
Yeah, I'm old for that.
Okay, no worries, boo. No worries about it. So the whole concept itself is about like, okay, if I do a clicker game, will I be able, for example, to like retain as much traffic as I can? So it wasn't a main kind of core thing for example, with what we're exactly helping. It was a part of their onboarding journey for the community that we're actually been bringing to their startups. And while we're helping with those things, like building this onboarding people also in this like events and so on, of course, we're taking a little fee. As well as at that time, was grabbing some, okay, you need a banner for, I don't know, for promotion in the, like, I don't know, Quest platform, banner for this article that is going to be beautifully written by our friends, but, you know, there should be, like, all of the logos in there, should be nice, eye-catching, and so on. Who's doing that?
I guess you.
Exactly. Yeah. So at that time, it was lean, was trying to keep it as lean as possible because the burn rate is always catching you back.
Yeah.
And as well as making it lean, you can test it out, find out, okay, here's money, here's money, here's money, because the client itself is voting usually not with hand, with money. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Yeah. And from the start of this kind of journey, when I was trying to frame it in terms of the platform, I was getting some first revenues and so on, was basically finding out these patterns, like what people do, for what they're willing to pay, for what they're not. And basically all of these features are kind of slowly but steadily included right now in the platform. Because if somebody willing to pay for it, why it's not there? You get it?
So your business model is a mix of a platform fee, and you also have some agency services built on top of that at this moment. Did I get that correctly?
Exactly. For now, the kind of bigger picture that I want to share with you, as long as we do not have a token, so it's going to be launched very soon, in around like half a year. We're planning the token generation event soon. So, and when the token going to be introduced, the mechanics of the platform itself going to be changing very quickly in terms of, right now I'm just grabbing some money from you in terms of like USDTs and so on. So it's basically stable. So what it have like with my economy inside of the project. So while we're changing it on our token, we're introducing afterwards the stacking mechanics. So you as a company coming and need to drop some cash in the pool and basically do not touch it unless you want to work with us. If you don't, you cash out. But what's the main point of it? Basically, we can establish these rankings. Okay, if you want to work with the Core and Telegraph, for example, like the big guys, you need to stake more, basically, to get access to this. It's kind of like leveling system, but now you're voting with cash, basically. Okay. So, and it's still your money. It's still the money that is actually like a subscription, but in a bit different way, in Web3 way. That's what's up. And in the end of the day, it's helping us to establish this loyalty of the customer. He actually betting on our platform, not only paying for subscription, how it's always like in classical, traditional world looks. And as well as this helping us to grow the economy, because the biggest part of every kind of cash moment for crypto startups is basically how well your token is performing. It's usually it's utility token. As well as for us, it's staking, like a subscription part of the protocol. And as well as for somebody else, I mean, it's different. But the concept itself is if you are token constantly growing, you can show it to investors. This actually like your real life metric, like how people betting on what you do. But we're not talking about securities in here. That's how it goes. And in the end of the day, we just like introducing this system. And when it's all work, like it's usually or buying or selling pressure on the market. That's how this graphs happening there. And because of you as a startup need to use the platform, the only point what you do is you're just buying and staking it. You're not touching it, to use basically. And in the end of the day, guess what's happening with the market price, of the token. So if a bunch of companies coming, it's only buying pressure in there. I mean, selling pressure could be like from us, like as a founders, after vestings and unlocks, from investors maybe, and from some little community allocation. But in the end of the day, most of the guys who coming, basically staking it and not touching their money, meaning that nobody's selling. That's how it goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the first to admit that I still don't get many parts of the crypto business model, but hopefully we have made a service to our audience to provide them with a real life example of someone who does it like such as yourself. One thing I wanted to ask you is on your website I saw a section of called something like supported by. And it reminded me of some sort of growth hacking tools that many startups do when they start out. So, some people know that Airbnb like started by scraping like the listings of Craigslist, which is not necessarily a very nice thing to do, but sometimes when you're starting a startup, you venture into gray zone. So I thought that you did something similar to that. So you have this section that says supported by, and then there are logos of these companies, like media companies, who essentially just reposted a PR, like a promoted article that you did, or even some grants that were given to a previous iteration, a different pivot of your company. So at the same time, I'm intrigued by it, because sometimes I don't feel like I am aggressive and creative enough when it comes to marketing. So I was wondering what kind of thinking came into putting that in that way. If you understand what I wanted to ask. Yeah.
Of course. It's a brilliant question, man. So from my perspective, there's actually no fake it till you make it. You know, these things in 21st century, or maybe like 2024, is not working anymore. So the only thing you can do is basically create this trust, size, and action. Like those three pillars of kind of success of each entrepreneur or company. So, and how do you establish trust? Basically. So you need to, when I'm as a user coming to whatever platform, I'm like, okay, am I willing to pay for this? I don't know, or not. Maybe it's laggy, or I don't know, whatever is going to be there. It's like a black box. And when I'm coming to another platform and seeing, okay, there's a bunch of like big guys already working in here. There's a bunch of big guys supporting and so on. So it's way easier for me to make an educated decision that I want to work especially with these guys. So, and in the end of the day, of course, I'm proud because of, especially what you mentioned. Some of the previous iterations was, for example, how we worked with Avadao.
That's pretty impressive,
Yeah, I mean, it was fun, you know. In the end of the day, it was just having fun, testing hypothesis, and like dropping guys some proposals. Come on, check this out. And so on. And guess where we end up? We end up like getting some cash in terms of the grant. And just with the previous iteration. But in the end of the day, like we're still in contact with the guys, you know, like nobody disappearing in there. We're also preparing the article, basically about the journey, how it changed since we actually worked together. And from this point, you know, it's basically us who was doing it. And it's still, we're not getting anywhere in terms of like, I'm not disappearing and so on. I'm still working on it. And in the end of the day, of course, if I have this achievement, why not to show it?
I mean, if you're not going to promote yourself, nobody else is going to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, and generally, I feel like many founders I know fail to be as aggressive in marketing as they, you know, could be. Obviously, everybody is going to set the scale on how far they're going to go into the gray hat zone for themselves. So, but generally, thank you for sharing this story to myself and to our audience. And I would like to switch gears a little bit. So one thing that I was really intrigued by was the fact that you've got passport of the Russian Federation and of Israel.
Exactly.
So in a way, you probably don't need a visa for like 99% of countries in the world. With a Russian passport, you can probably go into North Korea.
I can. Why not?
with the Israeli one, you know, the Western world. Let's put it like that. So, what kind of advantages does you know, growing up in two different cultures, you know, provide to an entrepreneur?
Mate, it's an awesome question actually. So, just giving you a brief of story of myself, like how does that happen? You know? Basically, my mother is Jewish, and my father is Russian. So I mean, guess who?
Good combination.
I mean, guess who appeared? You know. And right now, it's from what I see, like okay, I had this background, and like here's where I'm right now, and what's the kind of benefits, what's cons and pros it have. I mean, most of the cons in terms of like okay, I have multiple passports, can travel, easily meeting people, have no problem with visas. You know, I'm not spending like additional time on some pointless paperwork and so on while negotiating with the government at that time. Crazy, huh? So, and as well as the main kind of point is, it's easy for me to jump in whatever culture. As a kid, I was traveling a lot in terms of like I had to do so. It was not kind of my decision at that time, but now I can decide for myself, and I'm doing the same. Basically. So I was traveling a lot. It was a good point of cultural exchange with the people. I mean, like the guys from, I don't know, London, Portugal, Tel Aviv, Israel, and all of these guys are having, and girls, having different mindsets that they're willing to share. And as well as when you're learning languages, for example, I'm speaking a couple of like English, Spanish, and so on. So when you're also learning the language, which human being in front of you is speaking, it's way easier for you to understand his kind of mindset and his superpowers, kind of, you know, in there. And when you're achieving this momentum in terms of, okay, now I already know how to speak with the Asian-speaking guys. For example, I've been living in Thailand for 3 years. I had a girlfriend in there and so on. Yeah, I mean, it was fun, you know, and then I'm like a SpongeBob, you know, like get a lot of this culture inside of me. And it's way easier for me right now if you drop a guy, I don't know, from venture fund in Bangkok, you know, in front of me. I already know how to behave. You know, I know what to do, what not to do, and so on.
So what do I need to do, and what do I need to avoid when talking to a Thai VC? I'm curious.
Oh, mate, it's a good point. Imagine those guys are, how to call it, a bit shy. You know?
Okay.
They
is it like an Asian thing or a Thai thing?
I think it's mostly about like the Asian guys in general. I mean, depends on also the human being, but from mostly what I see, you know, my pressure that I'm applying. Hello, Vasily. My name is Vasily. Nice to meet you. Come on, let's do this.
Loud and clear. I mean, I'm gonna say the Israeli confidence and the Russian, you know, strength.
Exactly. And that's why, for example, for like Asian VC guy, you know, I might be a bit pushy. You know, for him, he's not trying to see this. He's trying to see a calm person that is polite, that kind of, hello.
Nice.
Smile, chill, and so on. You know,
did you learn that? Did you learn that by mistake? Did you at first come in like barging, you know, being this Vasily, and then by mistake, huh?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I mean, with some of like my friends who actually right now my friends, like they're from Japan, for example. The main point was, I realized it a bit later, you know, when like afterwards we already been talking more like in friends-ish moment. They were saying, Vasily, at first we was thinking that you're kind of crazy a bit, you know, because this guy coming screaming, whoa, and all of this stuff, you know.
But it's a cultural thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And for them it was very hard to, first of all, understand. I'm a like fluent English speaker. Yeah. Not for everybody. It's a good point. You know, sometimes you need just to speak steady, slow, easy to understand, and so on. No, like this buzzwords, no, this jargon, and so on. So people just expecting you to be a bit different, you know. But in the end of the day, we're humans, and we're like Rubik's cubes. You know, if you have multiple blocks in there with different colors, so why not to switch it if you know that it's gonna, in the end of the day, solve the cube, you know? That's how it goes.
So you mentioned shyness, and I'm guessing also humbleness when it comes to Asia. Could you give us a few more pointers?
Oh, mate, it's awesome question. So if you know, as long as you know how to behave with those guys, you can be calm, a bit kind of, you know, speak their language. And but do you know where all of this shyness coming from?
Where?
It's basically for different. I mean, it depends on which Asian country, basically. Yeah. But for example, from what I see from Japanese people, their traditions inside of the country, man, when I was visiting, for example, Thailand and so on, it's a cultural shock for me, but in different way. You know, they just been raised different. It's different traditions in there. It's absolutely different culture. And from what we see, it's basically, okay, I can be loud, I can be quiet. Those guys, mostly quiet until you're having some shots together.
Okay. So be make yourself compatible with that culture until you go out celebrating. Something like
I mean exactly. You know, if you actually becoming a friend of the guy from Asia and so on, they're super nice. They're willing to invite you to a wedding, to their house, to meet the family, lovely family. And I see this point as okay, now I'm kind of in the inner circle, because they also a bit, you know, like this when it comes to making new friends. I mean, it depends on the human being, but mostly they kind of for themselves. With you, they just chit chat, talk. And in the end of the day, that's what I respect personally, because they have their boundaries. It's hard to break them, but what you can do, I don't know, you can step a bit in there while just communicating, behaving in the proper way. And especially, like, you already asked me about, like, the background with being Russian and Israeli citizen. So basically, when I'm coming in Russia, I'm speaking the native language, and it's easy for me to understand, like, the boys and girls in there, basically. So while I'm coming to Israel, my Hebrew is not so good, you know, like, because like a small part of my life I've been living there. But in the end of the day, the people in Russia and in Israel, what they have in common, it's basically this ruthless culture of, come on, I'm gonna achieve it, I'm gonna make it. I mean, for Israeli guys, it's more about the money. For Russian guys, it's more about the kind of the legacy that they're gonna put.
Wow.
And when I saw this kind of pattern, whatever you call it, so they kind of pushing in the same direction, but with a different thought in mind. You get it?
I'm really intrigued by this because, well, it is like, well, intellectually interesting. What does legacy mean? You know, I can see what does, you know, a capitalist drive to make more money. But what does it mean to you know, work towards a legacy?
Oh, mate, it's an awesome question. I mean, just giving not a financial advice, just giving my perspective. Yeah. So the main idea about the legacy and how, for example, Russian culture is actually seeing this, it's either have a lot of money. I mean, cool point, you know.
Yeah.
But
money is not enough.
Exactly. What you're trying to get in there and have behind your name is, I don't know, successful brand, maybe. Depends, I mean, on the industry. Something maybe that is built, craved in stone, you know, like, okay, this guy was 30 before 30, Bloomberg, or like, and so on and so forth, you know. And if you're getting yourself in this position, it's like you're getting more proud of yourself. Okay. You know, like, if I have a bunch of money, nobody knows about me, cool for somebody. No, but from this kind of Russian perspective, it's more important to have something behind your name. And all of this, you know, how when the boxer come into a ring and all of the guys like basically holding his belt. You know why? Why they not coming there and just waiting? Because the guy itself, it's he need to project some fear and some respect for like to the opponent, you know. And what they do, why they handling all of this belts in there, is basically, man, see what I'm already achieved. Like 29 fights, 29 knockouts, and whatever, you know. And now we're talking, you know. And now we're talking with you. Come on, let's find whose legacy is stronger.
So
you know?
if I'm talking to a potential Israeli partner, I need to tell him how much money I'm gonna make him. If I'm talking to a prospective Russian partner, I need to tell him, well, I'm gonna make this money, but this is how this will make you more famous, or, you know, make you appear more successful in the eyes of other people. Is that what you're telling me?
Mate, it's exactly this. I think you fully grasped it. And basically, for Israeli guys, it's exactly like the main motivator is cash. Cash in hand.
Fair.
While for like Russian partner that you're trying to acquire and so on, it's mostly about like his image, his appearance, and so on. For example, as we just discussed with the belts and so on.
Yeah.
Now those guys searching for different things. It's hard to motivate a Russian guy with the idea, you know, of something with the money. You know, he's not there for money. He's there for absolutely different reason. You know?
I like the way that you put it, because there are a lot of ways that you can make things complicated. That you can make motivations complicated, but most of the time it's not that. Life is simple, and you know, money here, image here. That makes sense. What's it like for you? I mean, are you like half image, half money, or if it's a private question, we don't have to do it. I'm just curious. Where did you land in that sort of?
I see you.
Yeah,
I see you. It's a good question. So it's hard for me to say that I'm living somewhere in between.
Yeah.
No, but generally speaking, my energy kind of driver from why I'm waking up every day and so on. It's of course partially money. I want to eat. I want to like best life for my mama, my brothers, and so on.
Yeah.
But in the end of the day, what I'm trying to achieve in there, it's not especially legacy, but it's something that afterwards, when I'm dead, you know, I'm not here in the planet Earth, it should be something that is staying afterwards. You know, like, do you know who created the traffic light?
No.
But guess what? We're using it every day.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I want to be this guy, you know? Maybe my name is silent, in the end of the day, but something that I built.
You contributed to the world. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's used on daily basis, and nobody even know my name, you know. But you're using it still. Guess what?
Okay, that's ambitious. That's very ambitious. But you know, what are we without ambition? I mean, so can you tell me a bit about Web3 culture? What does motivate a Web3 person? And the reason why I'm asking that is because we already sort of you I think in a very, very nice way switched gears for me. You know, not necessarily what makes a business culture, but what motivates a person from a particular culture. Since the Web3 culture is global by default.
Exactly.
What motivates a Web3 person?
You were talking about the kind of founders part.
Yeah.
Guess what's happening? Like, why all of this blockchain and kind of new era of economy coming up? So the traditional way of economy that we're having right now, that we're using like these banks and so on, is basically framed for like hundreds of years already, starting with the first coins, you know, like how the money itself was kind of appeared, and ending up in today's day where we have this stock exchange, whatever, super cards that bankless things, you know, like bankless banks, where they're just sending you this card and so on. So it's actually part of the kind of current economy. Yeah. And what the Web3 guys and blockchain people trying to achieve in there, basically, like the Bitcoin is around like 15 years, you know, like in here in the scene, basically. And the main point, what had been done during this period, basically, guys raised a whole new economy based on not pure like mathematics and economical principles that we kind of traditionally see, but based on technology of this blockchain thing, where like everything getting documented and so on is just a different concept. You know, while like US printing some money, you know, in this system, it's not how it goes. You can print your money and so on, but it's about different things. It's about the transparency, decentralization itself. And the main driver in there, I guess, it's to contribute to the whole new economy. I mean, for Web3 people. So it's to contribute to this whole new economy that actually framing right now in a small and decent amount of time that we have. Basically, I mean, 10, 15 years, there was nothing. Now, guess what? I mean, whole our industry, $1 billion, now $1 billion companies appearing. And as well as, if you can contribute to this growth of general economy, you basically can become a guy who like created stock exchange in some way. So you're telling me
that it's legacy. Know? Essentially, it comes out in legacy, right?
Exactly. I mean, partially, yes. Partially, yes. But in the end of the day, what's the difference working in a big company like Coca-Cola and working with a startup? With the Coca-Cola, you have this task, press the button every day, you know, it's small.
But it's life. You know?
Exactly. But with the startup, you can actually contribute to something and change something inside of the company very quickly, you know, because imagine it's like 5 people sitting in the room trying to like contribute to a bigger vision of the startup. It's easy to convince them. But when it's a couple of thousand people in the building and it's you don't even have this, I don't know, card to access the higher level, of the building, man, it's very hard to contribute. It's very hard to do so. Exactly with the, like just trying to get in parallel with the concepts of traditional economy, like Coca-Cola and so on, and more like startup-ish part of the Web3.
Yeah, but what I'm hearing you is it comes down to legacy as well. You know, so in your experience, Web3 people are motivated by, you know, making a dent in the universe. Am I mistaken? That's your experience?
I guess, yes. I mean, as well as a lot of people, like, why do we have all of this Doji coin, meme coin, you know? Some of the guys trying to flip some money, you know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but what I meant was builders. Let's put it like that. I mean, degens aside. Degens, we know what degens are motivated by. You know, being a degen, I can put that hat on. But for builders, that's what I had in mind actually.
Exactly, mate. And I guess we're on the same page in here with the like legacy. And basically, if you can really contribute and build something beautiful in there, guess what? It's gonna stay for 100 more years in there. Because I mean, the blockchain technology is here to stay. I mean, for sure, it's a proven concept with billions of dollars and millions of audience in there. You know, so. And as well as if you genuinely want to contribute and build something, there's quite a good incentives for you to do so. You know, for example, like bigger ecosystem projects, they have a lot of like grants program. They have a lot of incentives in terms of like, okay, if you're a hacker, you can go to a hackathon in, I don't know, like Prague, Brussels, whatever. And you can contribute to some of your visions and contribute to a bigger picture of what they're trying to like give rewards for, basically. And this is the environment where people collaborating, building some real stuff, and in the end of the day, putting their legacy and putting out their work for masses to then decide, and we're gonna use it or we're gonna lose it. That's how it goes.
Super. Great note to end on. Thanks so much for sharing all that.